Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and no, I'm not in my pajamas. This is a regular shirt, though certainly it looks like a pajama on camera. I'm a trained remote viewer, and all of my psychic skills have been honed because I was part of a secret government program looking for human potential and superpowers. Hmm, we found them. I'm here trying to teach you what I learned on my own afterwards because I would like for you to have access easily. And today I realize also responsibly, we are all going to be able to have superpowers. We all have them, it's in the third eye. But the fact that you have them doesn't mean you know how to use them well. So I am going to back off a little bit, having to do with my desire that all of you know everything right now, because some of you are just simply not ready. I'm not going to hold information back at all, but I think I'm going to slow down in teaching you what I've been teaching in the last several days, which are what I now realize is psychic surgery. I didn't have the information complete. We worked together as a group. There's information that's missing, but I know there's people that are never going to go back and look at my protocol to find out that there are certain things they need to do to ensure that whatever they're doing doesn't go south. So I'm going to do things a little bit more slowly. So we're going to start here today. We're going to deal with mood, which means how we feel, which is going to go into the vitalizing of our intentions. You figure out what your intentions are. I'm going to try to teach you how to make sure that you are primed, okay? So that you can energize your intentions. The most important law today on the planet is the law of attraction. It's not the law of intention, which was always the most important law. The law of attraction is the law of magnetic resonance. What it says is that things that have the same resonance are going to be pulled together. And that is the case. Josh, you're deviating attention, and I'm going to require total focus, because the only way you can create magic, which is what I want to teach all of you, is to have discipline in your mind, which means discipline in your focus. Don't pull me off base. Stay focused. So, the law of attraction. Let me show you an example, and then we'll take it to bigger picture. This is the law of attraction, how it plays out in our families. This old lady is depressed, wants to die. She doesn't have enough to do that's satisfying. And there's her daughter in a not a good place. And the graphic is not correct. This was done years ago because that's not the way the energy transfers. It actually transfers through those vectors. It doesn't go over from the person. It could do that also, but that's not the way it does. So we are energizing the people around us with our negativity, because our emotions are magnetic in nature. So if we have a lot of depression and our daughter has a little bit of depression, plus we pay attention to the daughter, the son, the company, the enemy, from us jut out the vectors from the center axis that we all have. And it directs energy of ours and intentions of ours towards that person. So if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to be energizing everything around you with what you're not dealing with. A lot of times it's subconscious, you don't even know it. But we already kind of know that the big issue today is the fire element. There's too much. And this is a year in 2024 in which the Chinese astrologers that know an awful lot have said there is no water element in 2024. We have four elements: water, earth, air, and fire. They're supposed to be balanced, 25% of each. There's no water. That means that all the other elements there's going to be too much. including fire, which is the basis for war, the basis for hatred, the basis for fighting. That's why today we look at the national scene. It doesn't really matter what the issue is, everybody's angry. That anger is due to an excess of the fire element. So I want to make you powerful, but guess what? I'm not going to make you powerful, or I'm going to try my best not to, if you're infused with the fire element, because you're going to run around doing damage to your own family members. And that is not what I'm all about. I have realized that in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been trying to teach people things that they're not ready for. I hate that because that's been used against us. Don't worry your pretty little head about that. We'll take care of it, the professionals. No. I want you to have the information. But you can't have the power unless I don't want you to have the power. Unless it's going to be used in a way that ultimately is going to be good for you and everybody else, not just for everybody else, but also for you, and not just for you, but for everybody else. That's what happened with the bombs that we detonated at the end of the Second World War. Apparently, whoever we threw the bombs at, Japan, had already given up, but we wanted to test it. That's power, not used very ethically. And the ethics is not the issue. Was that good for the planet? I don't think so. So I'm going to teach more slowly now and probably more responsibly. My desire that all of you be super powerful and access your superpowers and access and augment your intelligence because you're really good in the other dimensions. I need to tone that down. Because a lot of you are just not aware, and that's not your fault, but it's not my fault either. And just the fact that it's nobody's fault doesn't mean that I should, whatever, we don't need to go there. So, the law of attraction applied to your safety, the safety of your children, the safety of your bank account, and your companies, etc. I have been telling my followers for years that are mainly women, and most of them are mothers, please don't send your children off to school with too much fire inside of them. What does that mean? Well, that's pretty simple. Because my followers, the mantristas, already know about using the mantrista music, which is free all night long, so that it's reducing your fire by giving your environment holds images. And those music videos have images of beaches and waters and waterfalls. Some of them have cascading cold water. It's reducing the fire in your bedroom. It's reducing the fire in your mind strings. Let me show you your mind strings. We're not in kindergarten right now, but we're going to go down to basics. Those are your 72,000 mind strings. And if there's too much fire, you got a problem. You're going to have insomnia, impatience, irritability, frustration, anger, hate, emotional violence, physical violence, murder, and suicide. Did you know suicide was an excess of fire? I didn't know it until recently, but there are scientific studies that in the places where the temperature has risen 2 degrees, I believe it is, suicide rates go up dramatically. Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine knows that if you have a hot head, which means too much fire element, you're going to be mentally ill. You need to take care of it because you're going to be mentally ill. If you can reduce that fire, you can take care of the issue. And you can reduce the fire with these videos and with the mantras. It's not that difficult. This is information that you need to have because you, with excess fire and superpowers, is not what my intention is. And right now I'm talking about me. That's not my intention. I don't want to empower people to be more efficient or more effective or faster at killing other people, even if it's just their kid or it's me if they get angry at me. I don't want that. So you have a responsibility that your system, your mind, which is your mind, And then the energy bodies your mind uses in the different dimensions to operate on those dimensions. This is the body, which is the envelope of consciousness that we use in the physical dimension to operate on the physical dimension. It's not the same body we use in the astral dimension, the astral dimensions of which there are 7, only one physical. You use your astral body, which is your spirit, which is composed of emotions, which are magnetic. So if you have a smile and you're so pleasant and you only say nice things, you're going to have a terrible accumulation of fire. And you're going to draw to you people that are awful. And you're going to say, why are people so awful? You're full of fire. I'm very pleasant. I'm very nice. No, you're not. You're smiling. You're pretending. But inside of you, you have those astral particles of fire, magnetic, and you're drawing that out of people and to you. So I need to be more responsible in how I teach, and you need to be responsible for your system, which is your instrument of creation. You create your kids. You create your bank account. You change, your kids change. You change, your prosperity issues change. You have a trauma, and all of a sudden everything goes south. What changed was your reaction to the trauma. You create, but the quality of you needs to be such that you can create responsibly. When you have too much fire, there's very little thought process. I have recognized in the last 2 weeks of how many things I have trashed in my life, people, projects, bank accounts, because I had too much fire. I was too frustrated. I was a mind control victim. I couldn't get out from under anybody, anything. And I couldn't say anything. Oh my God, big secrets. And I couldn't, the word in Spanish is reclamar. I couldn't scream bloody murder and say, you owe me, stop doing this. No. And I was a very frustrated person with a lot of accumulated fire. And I ruined a lot of things. A lot of times I'd read stuff and I wouldn't even read it correctly. I'd read it in reverse. A lot of stuff that I did that I look back now and say, what on earth was I doing? Because I had too much fire. Now, I'm not saying I'm finished with that situation, but I'm going to say I'm a lot better. You need to become responsible for your well-being. Like I said yesterday, when I realized in the 90s, I can't just leave because I'm leaving a mess for my family. A legacy, an inheritance, it's not good. You need to look at yourself and see what it is that you are creating. As an example, somebody on X said, the big question is why? It is the big question. If you have a problem that repeats, let's go to Donald Trump and Elon Musk and lawsuits. They repeat. I haven't heard of one lately with Elon Musk, but I'm sure there must be more. Repeat. Why? Because stuck in the programming of the mind, there's something called a vasana, which is a deep-rooted injury, which is the basis for karma. That means that at some point, there was a horrible situation having to do with lawsuits, unfairness, Okay, never cleared. They may have even won the way Trump apparently always wins, and it looks like Elon's always going to win. But then you have the karma of incredibly unfair lawsuits, in my opinion. But you win. Who wants to go through that? We don't even want to witness it. It's exhausting. You can clear that. You can go and clear that from your mind streams. It's stuck there someplace. And you can clear it. And you can clear it with a mantra. And you need to clear it because you're going to keep reproducing it. So anytime you find yourself complaining about something, you have to ask the question that guy, and I don't remember what his name is on X, when he said, you have to ask why. You have to ask why. Why is this happening again? Karma, which is the word for those vasanas, vasanas. It's a Hindu word, and it's a deep impression on your mind, like a knifing on your mind. And it leaves an impression, and the mind streams get all caught up like this. They create reality. So they create this reality, and within that little mess, You have images and thoughts and issues and your reaction, and it has to do with that issue. Like, let's say the lawsuits. Well, you don't have to even go to a specialist. That's a great stuff. Thing about the stuff that I teach that I specifically wanted to learn, and I told God in the 90s, I said, nobody can afford the amount of money that I'm spending on therapy to repair from this, and I'm not even repaired. So do me a favor, God. Hello, because I talk to God like that. Do me a favor. I need stuff that everybody can afford. So you figure it out. And I got the mantras. They don't cost you anything. So your mantra, if you have lawsuits, it's not just unfair lawsuits, in my opinion. And I'm sure in Elon and Trump's opinion, it's unfair lawsuits. When in Trump's situation, I think today I perceive he's very proud that they're doing all of this to him and he ends up victorious. I am sure that his Taurus wife is not happy with that, even if he's going to come out victorious. Everybody is shaken by the whole process. How about if we clear the whole lawsuit issue, unfair lawsuit issue? Forget about getting the lawsuits and coming out victorious. Forget that. We don't want that. We don't have time for that. There's too many important things happening now. Too many important, great things happening now. So then you do a mantra having to do with clearing the karma. You can use the word karma or vasana of the unfair lawsuits. Because if there were fair lawsuits, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about them. And then you don't have to waste your time on that. And I understand Trump because I have been proud that I've been victorious and still standing with all the enemies. You know what? No. Forget the being proud of that. I don't want the problem at all. I don't want to prove that I'm such a winner. No. I don't want the problem. And you can have a mantra for that. And that way, you don't have an accumulation of rage that's building up because you were sued unfairly or because you lost your job because of unfair competition, whatever it is that it happens to be for you. What I'm saying is you need to get back to basics and forget this. And I'll tell you about what we're doing with the psychic surgery stuff. But that's not where you need to be. You need to take care of your life. You need to take care of that stuff so that you do not ancestrally pass it down to your family. Even the great grandkids that are going to be born and you're not going to be around. Supposedly, I am from the Blavatsky family. Do we know that that's accurate? We don't know that that's accurate. Am I going to get the government to tell me? They're not going to tell me. How do I know that? Or how do I? Because so many people have told me that who supposedly know. That's how come they wouldn't let go of me. They were waiting when I was born. Okay. Oh, that's so interesting. She started a new movement, theosophy, and she was very bright. They thought she was crazy. A lot of people think I'm crazy. Oh. She went to Tibet. She was an old lady and she went to Tibet. Well, nobody went to Tibet that was white and not Tibetan and I was in Tibet when I was 10. How many people don't believe that? It's like a repeat. The one thing she did that I'm trying not to repeat is she had incredible level of information. Wow. I have that also. But she was very intellectual and she gave out the information in ways that's totally unreadable. I have never been able to read a book of hers. I've actually not been able to read 2 pages of hers. It's too detailed. It's too much stuff. I want cut to the chase. So maybe there's a part of me that says I don't want to be just like that, whether or not I'm blood related. So we pass on to our relatives, which makes it a good reason for us to take care of things. So why am I saying all of this now? Because I'm making a bit of a stop and saying we're not going to go as fast. And if you get bored because you have an excess of fire in you, I can't help you because that excess fire is probably ruining many parts of your life. It will deprive you of the opportunity of reducing your negative emotions in the time you spend with me. But that's not the only thing that it's eaten up. I'm telling you, because I'm looking back at my life and I'm going, I'm reading stuff from before and I'm going, that said that? I don't remember that. I read it in reverse. I misinterpreted it because I was in too much of a hurry. So you can continue to be too much of a hurry, knowing that that is a symbol, that is a sign, 100%, that you have too much of the fire element, which means you're going to be part of the problem, or you are part of the problem of the planet today. You need too much stimulation and you need everything to go fast. And that's not the way you get to certain places. It's certainly not to where you get to a centeredness that would help you to create consciously the kind of life that you would want if you were in control of your consciousness. By the way, the fire element is the food of the devil. And if you don't believe in spirits, you're going to have a really hard time here. Because all the religions talk about spirits, all the metaphysical people throughout history. And when you die, you're going to become a spirit. So if you don't believe in that, okay, you know what? You need to update your computer. You need to update your computer. Okay, we're going to now go to the regular. We're going to address how we feel so that we can vitalize our intention. Going back to sending your children out to the world, having employees, putting out projects, you need to make sure that they're balanced. So I tell the people that follow me, don't send your kids to the world, to school with too much fire. Put the music on at night. Get labradite. Whether you buy it from me or not, doesn't matter. Have them have it 24 hours around their neck, especially at night. Make sure your home is balanced in the elements, which you can do by opening a window. Oh, no, it's too hot. Yeah, I know it's too hot. I know it's too hot. Those other dimensions, burning up. Oh, it's too hot. I'm not going to go open the window. I had a woman whose home I diagnosed. I have a 2-hour video. I couldn't believe it. I asked her, when was the last, you need to open the windows, systematically. She said, oh, we don't open the windows. It's too hot. I said, okay, when was the last time you opened the windows? She said, no, I moved here 14 years ago. I said, yeah, okay, fine. When was the last time you opened the windows? 14 years ago. She was recycling everything 14 years later. She had spirits in every single corner, and her life was not that bad. But her spaces were really messed up because she had habits that are not good habits, having to do with, I'm going to put it again. Here is the sketch of everybody's mind strings. Those strings feed off of the environment. That's why feng shui is so important. I think I may have a little video I can show you, and we can break the monotony of me chastising you. Give me a second. Let me see if I have it up here. And I'll put it on, and then we can get a little bit of a break. And then all I need to do is find out that I don't have it here. Okay, I don't have it here. I have a little video I did about why feng shui works, and basically that's it. Your mind streams extend into the other dimensions, which is your environment. If I have a spirit standing here, this section of mind streams, which has to do with prosperity, is going to be feeding off of a haunting. This section of mind streams has to do with relationships. If you have a hard time, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, whatever, business partners, this part of you could have an open portal or be haunted. You need to know all of that stuff. You can't do what I have wanted you to do, which is to jump straight into psychic surgery. Okay, you can't do that. You're not ready for it. I'll give you information, but I'm not going to give you power that you're not ready to exercise yet. I'll tell you about it, but I'm certainly not going to give you a step-by-step outline for you to use it when half of you don't even believe it. So how responsible can you be? Okay, let's go ahead with the mood, because your mood has everything with energizing your intentions. And it has everything to do with discipline, focus. If you have too much fire, you can't focus. Next. Okay, I know what she's going to say. I already know what she's going to say. Next. Okay, too much fire. I don't think I'm boring. Maybe I am. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the mantra that has to do with mood. And here we go again with me not having this pulled out. And the mantras are repeated in silence. I love it to where every time I do this, I have to search for this. You would think that my memory would hold that, but it doesn't. Okay. Okay, this is the mantra that will reduce almost all of the negative emotions that you have one way or another through these 3 phrases that you accept. The problem with negative emotions is we don't really accept them. We handle them, we hold them, we put them in parts of our body that end up becoming diseased, etc. I'm going to get the sensory music, which is for the solar plexus, the garbage can of emotions. I know I've told you before. And we're going to do 10 minutes of reducing all of this. I'm going to sketch real quick so you can see how you are before you start it. go back to the lawsuits, which seems to be like a game in this country. If you understood about serial lifetimes, reincarnation, past lives, there would be no lawsuits. If you accepted serial lives, reincarnation, etc., you wouldn't be able to get angry at a particular group. Like, let's say you don't like people with dark skin. Lots of lifetimes in which you had dark skin. You don't like people from a certain religion. Chances are you were part of that religion before. You hate China because they're ready to take over. Chances are you were Chinese in some lifetime. So everything kind of gets smoothed down to a level playing field. The good news is that with a properly worded mantra, and you don't have to be super bright to word it properly, you can take care of patterns that repeat. And you can also take care of the patterns for other people, because we are all interconnected. And I have put up many times the mantrista music together with the mantra for purifying the pattern of lawsuits for the two big players I mentioned earlier. I need to put it on again, even though certainly it's looking better than it was when I used to put it on. The point of the matter is that we do not have to suffer stuff that we've suffered for and we've suffered through in the past. We can take care of it. And that's basically why I am here. One thing that has me a little bit concerned, having to do with the planet and repeat patterns, is that I told you about us, the Mantrista movement, we working with on 20 countries and purifying their reaction, what ended up being what would be the basis for violence today, which in the past ended up being the conquistadors taking over their countries, people from Europe, whatever, and killing the indigenous in their cultures. That's a legacy. Is that what's going to happen to us with the ETs? Because we have that pattern? Because we took care of 20 countries, but how many countries are there? And that certainly was the case in Africa, the whole continent. So all of these things should leave us thoughtful and also should give us a list of things that we need to address, we need to work on so that they don't repeat. I want to go back to the issue with the kids sending your child off to school. In a world full of hate, excess fire, and I talked about the environment. If there's been unfairness in the family, lawsuits. The family had their money taken away from them, or there was political upheaval and the family lost everything. That creates resentment and anger, legitimately, obviously legitimate. That needs to be cleared because that lands on the kids. It becomes an ancestral issue. Unfairness with prosperity, etc. And then you're sending your kid out into the world, supposedly battling the world in order to position themselves. But what they really are battling is their ability to create a graceful prosperity. That was my point. I'm not sure that I didn't lose it with all of the rhetoric. So I sketched you while you were doing the mantra. It looks great. There are people angry. Okay. The eyes should be one. There are two. Don't know what that's all about. But you're very angry about prosperity. And we're talking about physical prosperity, bank accounts, etc. So I think I'm going to change the mantra that I was going to use, and we're going to address that, and let's see if we can't get that better. Because you see that congestion? Law of attraction. You are going to attract to you things that make you angry about your physical prosperity because you have anger about your physical prosperity. So let's go ahead and address that in this next mantra, and then we'll be finished. So here we go. Let me find my list of mantras. Here we go. We're going to do this one. and I'm going to see how much you're going to be able to get rid of that. That's not going to be a permanent getting rid of, okay? But it will be absolutely a diminishing of that so that you have the ability to create prosperity. Here we go. Okay? And then we're going to put a music on that will support this, which is music that has to do with the earth element. And we're going to put the music on that has to do with the jungle. Okay? Let's do 10 minutes and I'll sketch you towards the end. And there we go. interesting. We ask for miraculous peace, which we've done before, miraculous prosperity. These are the spiritual chakras, and they drop down to touch what before was with a lot of anger because of the wording of the mantra. I'm impressed. So we're going to be able to do this. So I'd like for you to identify in your personal life what patterns are really holding you back. Do you have lawsuit patterns? I have a pattern of not being compensated for my work. I was never paid a penny by any government, by any official, or by any of the abusive political groups that used me for decades for information. Never. That's a big pattern. I have to stop complaining about that. And I need to just get my work done. I will let you know that in the future, there will be people that you will go to that will be specialists. And you will pay them and say, I have this pattern. And they'll go, okay, tell me about it. And you'll give them the information because they need a little bit of information in order to be able to formulate the exact wording of the mantra to address the pattern. And then they'll tell you what they're going to charge you, and you go away, and they will either do it themselves or they contract other people that will sit there sometimes for hours and deprogram your mind from a distance the same way you can program your mind at a distance. You won't have to do it yourself. You won't have to keep hitting the same wall. And then your mind, which would have been liberated from that karma, that vasana, that deep-rooted injury, it will be liberated. You can create what you want. If not, your intention has to hit up against that, and it's very difficult. So we're learning a lot in these chats. And there are some baseline issues on the planet, such as the relationship between males and females. I'm not going to go into the gay, not gay, trans. I can't keep that all straight. So we'll just pretend that we're 10 years ago when none of that was around so that I can speak without making a mistake or getting anybody angry at me. But those patterns, let's look at the pattern of what psychologists tell you. You tend to pair off, like let's say you're a female, you'll pair off either with somebody who's like your father or somebody who's the opposite of your father. And the psychologists are usually right when they say that. What is that, a program? It's got to be a program. It's got to be a program for everybody. Like a planetary program, because there is planetary karma. And that's the kind of stuff that the Mantrista movement we find very interesting to work on. But for now, why don't you make a list of the things that you keep, the same thing that keeps repeating, and then formulate a mantra for it, or at least know that it doesn't really matter what you do. You don't have the ability unless you heal, purify, release those strings that are knotted. You don't have the ability to create what you want because your mind is so knotted. Vasana creates karma, that you don't have the ability to create something different. This is very good for me because I've been... My political enemies are not happy because of all the news that's coming out. I'm happy. If I survive this little dark stretch, I'm going to be doing really well. They're not happy. So my issue, the whole thing of, well, why don't you just compensate me for what it is that you want from me, which is information, knowing that if it's not ethical, I don't like it, you're not going to get it. It doesn't matter what you pay for. But you know what? I don't need to do that. I need to clear my pattern. I need to clear my pattern. You need to clear your patterns, but first you got to identify them. And then when you realize that, you go, oh, so I'm not such a victim. I'm really a victim of myself. Yes. Yeah. We are a victim of ourselves. We are the creators. And we're not stupid. We have not had the information, which is why I'm here. So I hope you thought this was a good chat, because I did. Got a lot of stuff off my chest. And we will be telling you about, let me tell you the latest thing we found out in our chats with the Mantrista Movement group that's later in Spanish. We found out that we all have an implant in the back of our heart chakra, and that implant goes to our belly button, and that implant is to disconnect us from our children. I'm not sure that most people are not aware that when we're born, the mother and the baby's aura is the same. And then the first 3 months of life, the baby's disconnecting from the mother, the aura, and then they're totally separate people. Well, that's just the way it is, right? It wasn't supposed to be like that. We were also supposed to be an extension of each other, like in Lemuria, where everything was really very nice. Because if that person is an extension of you, you're going to treat them very differently. If you know that's you, you're going to treat them very differently. And they're going to treat you very differently. But this particular implant, like the movie The Matrix, which is how this all started, disconnects us all. So when we disconnect that mind stream channel, because it's got to be thousands of mind streams that create this channel, when that's disconnected, and you request very simply to be reconnected with your children, it's unbelievable the difference. It's totally magical. The most important thing, though, is to know that the way things are on planet Earth is not the way they were supposed to be. We have had an awful lot of interference, a lot of programming. And we have been programming to fight against each other when the real enemy is not here, but knows everything that we're doing. And it's not the government, it's not an agent, it's not the deep state, it's above and beyond that. So we will see you tomorrow, Monday through Friday. And next week I may go to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I think you might get tired of me seeing me 5 days a week. And it is a little bit tiring. Okay? Love you a lot. Bye.